What's up, everybody? It's your boy the Noob, back again with another manga that I want to introduce y'all to. So, as of course, I'm an Isekai lover. I will never stop loving Isekai. But I also like the Isekais that aren't about the main hero. I know a few videos ago I told you about the cooking one. This time around I found one that's much simpler, much more wholesome, and I really have enjoyed it. Every time a new chapter comes out, I end up rereading all the chapters before it because it's just so calming and simple and easy. The name of the manga is called The Man Picked Up by the Gods, or its original title, Kamitachi ni Hiro wa Tara Otaku. I know, I butchered that. Sorry. The story revolves around Roma. See, in our world, he's a middle-aged office worker, a salaryman, but he's built more like a fighter. But he really isn't that much of a tough guy. He's really nice, he works, he helps out his people. His past has been very kind of sad. His father was very abusive. His mom eventually died. It's just kind of tragic. Eventually, he comes to die. Now, when he dies, gods from another world decide to take his soul. The three gods that he meets are known as Gain, the creator, Rurutai, the goddess of love, and Kofu, the god of life. See, these three have watched over him because apparently a god from his world put him through trials, but they were very mean and unnecessary trials because there was no need for a hero. So it almost seemed a little sadistic. They felt sorry for this very pure soul and decided to let him have a new life. Now, of course, he was wondering, do I need to save anybody? Do I need to protect the kingdom? And they said, no, we want you to just enjoy your life. Because apparently, in this manga, the world that they live on, the world that they're sending him to, has magic, but it only comes in a certain amount. So when they need more magic, they summon a soul from a different world and bring it to their world. And it happens every once in a while, and so it's his turn. So as long as he lives his life, they will get the magic out of it, which is how the story pretty much begins. Now, when he's reincarnated, he's given a young child's body. But the perks or the stats that they give him is above average. Now, he's about 9 or 10 when they reincarnate him. And he decides to live in the forest for quite a while. See, he eventually tries to find a place to live, which he does, and then he discovers his first monster, a slime. And he decides he's going to tame it. But as he tames it, he comes to realize he wants to learn about it, and so for 3 years, he literally learns about slimes as a hobby and lives in this forest to the point where he actually learns more about these monsters than the average person does. And not only does he have one slime, he actually has hundreds of slimes. Now you see, he's got 4 basic ones, which are very unique. He's got acid slimes. They apparently will dissolve pretty much anything. There's scavengers slimes, and they kind of are the ones that you would use to eat garbage or anything disposal. The cleaning slimes are very unique because they're basically sponges that are alive. You put them in a room, they'll clean all the dirt off. They'll even clean dirt off of you. And then there are the poison slimes. Well, basically, if they eat plants that are poisonous and they survive, they become these poison slimes. Now, I said 4, but I was actually wrong. There's actually 5, and I forget about this one because it's his main slime. It is a sticky slime. Basically, they are, think the sticky thread from worms. By feeding slimes these worms, they get the ability to stick, to create threads, and capture things. And these are kind of his go-to slimes. Now, of course, studying slimes and having a hobby and living on his own is fine and great and all that, but that doesn't really make as much of an interesting story. So you might be wondering, okay, where does this go? Well, while he's out hunting one day, he stumbles upon a group of people where somebody is hurt. Now, the one thing that kind of interests me right off the bat from this manga is he hasn't spoken to anyone in 3 years or so. So when he first meets these people, he actually is struggling to talk. He's trying to remember how to say words to get them to know he's not trouble, to help them out. And now he does help these people out, and he helps save the person, and they come to realize he's actually a very extraordinary boy. Apparently he can do magic that's way above his age level. He's got all these slimes that are following his command. He can make potions that are just as good as ones that are made by the government. So they take an interest in them. Now, from what the story goes on, he kind of gives a story where he doesn't really go to town because he would feel outside. So they respect his wishes and go away. But eventually, they do come back. And it's found out that the people that he saved, one of them is a duke, and the rest are bodyguards, and they're all kind of high-class people. So when they come back, the duke brings his wife and his daughter. They, of course, meet. They introduce each other. He gets better at talking because he practiced, because he had a feeling they'd come back. And the family eventually kind of adopts him. They convince him to go with him to the city to learn more than what's in the forest. And the story goes on from there. See, what I like about this is the characters are not just bland. They're very unique. Now, your main character is not trying to be the hero. He's not trying to protect the thing. In fact, all he wants to do is make a living, help out these people who helped him, and study his slimes. And the family is quite interesting. The dad, he's an ex-tamer. He takes an interest in the boy. The bodyguards, they all can realize he's much stronger than they realize. The daughter pretty much becomes a friend with him because he has a high amount of mana energy, and so does she. And apparently in that world, if you've got high mana, you have the ability to kind of overflow and malfunction. But the one side character that I love the most is the mom. I'm sorry, this is the kind of anime mom everybody wants. From the moment she meets him, she is worried about him. Is he doing okay? Why is he out in this forest? Is there anything I can do for him? And then throughout the story, the way she just cares for him is more and more. There's a point in the manga later on where he has already joined the Adventurers Guild, and he is basically cleaning the toilets out, the underground kind of sewageway, because they've been left unattended, and there's an epidemic that's been growing down there, and he just needs to clean it. He's perfectly healthy from it because of his stats, but she gets stupidly worried to the point where when he says he can't stay for dinner, that he's just grabbing his clothes, and she told him that he needs to stay, and he said, no, I can't. She started breaking down and crying, and she eventually basically kidnapped him and said, no, you're going to eat, you're going to spend the night here, sleep, and then you can go to work. This is the kind of mom to where if I got isekai'd, I would want this mom to take care of me. Folks, this is one of those wholesome mangas. There's not a lot of chapters out. I don't think it's been released in paper form yet. If it has, it's maybe got 1 volume out. But I have enjoyed this. And like I said, it's one of those mangas that I enjoy so much that without realizing it, when a new chapter comes out, I go back to chapter 1 and reread them all over again. It is that good of a manga. And there's not a lot of mangas I will do that for. I'll read a chapter, maybe I'll read 1 chapter back, but this one, I've read all the chapters multiple times. That's why I think, if anything, you all should give it a try. Anyways, folks, that's my manga recommendation for today. What do you think about it? I know some of you might be tired of isekai because it's been blowing up, but are you a fan of isekai? Do you think you would like this kind of story? Is there any kind of manga that you would like me to read myself? I've actually taken a few suggestions from people, and they're on my list. I'm going to be reading them soon. So if you got one, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, folks, I'm the Noob. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a good day. See ya!